This is Dad's Uninterrupted Birth Stories. My name is Derek Lorraine, and I'm a dad who was married to a wonderful woman who is a superhero. My wife gave birth to two of our four children at home and not on purpose. One she delivered by herself, and the second I was fortunate to help deliver. In this series of videos, you will hear from men of color from all walks of life, sharing their memories, emotions, and thoughts on the birth of their child. Get your tissues ready. I hope you enjoy.
My name is Sean Matthews. I'm a health systems trainer. So I train the field force on health systems within the organization.
How long have you been a father?
I have been a father for 20 years. Just hit my 20th anniversary of fatherhood with, with my son's birthday on April 8th.
Wow.
So recent birthday.
Wow. Okay, so happy belated to your son. What's his name?
Sean Jr.
Okay, Sean Jr. Awesome. Tell me a little bit about your family dynamic. What's that dynamic like?
So we are married with three kids. I have three boys.
Okay.
Been married for 20 years.
Okay.
And been together for 26 years. So we met during my freshman year at University of Rhode Island.
Okay.
That's where we initially met. I was up for football in August. We had football camp, and she was up at just being an RA, so they had an RA training back then.
Okay.
And I saw her in the Rams Den, which is where there's a dining hall up at the University of Rhode Island. We connected, we met, exchanged numbers, and it was on and popping from there.
Okay.
I didn't waste any time. Second week of my freshman year.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. I guess when you know, right?
When you know.
That's
yes.
Awesome. At this point, I want you to tell me a little bit about the birth story, right? So I want you to walk me through. I want you to take me back in time. So take me back 20 years to that time period when you're about to have your son. What did that feel like? What was that time period like? Just walk me through that a little bit.
Well, it was well, first off, I was ecstatic because I'd always wanted a boy, and you always want a healthy baby, but at that time I wanted nothing more than having a boy. And when I found out that he was a boy, I was just so happy. I remember running through the hospital, jumping up, clicking my heels, yelling through the halls. I was just so happy. And Teeny was happy, my wife, and we just really looking forward to the new journey. At the same time, I was at a crossroads because I was young. I was 23 to 24 years old, and I wasn't really ready to give up, partying and being young,
right.
hanging out. But at the same time, I was really looking forward to being a father and being a dad, and I was looking forward to the prospects of that happening. So as far as our story, I remember waking up in the morning. She had just really been uncomfortable throughout the latter part of her pregnancy. She'd gotten real big. She looked like she was ready to pop. So I remember waking up the morning of and saying, let's just go for a walk at Woodbridge Mall, because we lived in some apartments across the street from the mall. So it was just a 2-minute drive. And went to the mall, walked around a little bit just to, see what would happen. Well, we get back, nothing happened right away. I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 hours after we got back, I was in the kitchen. Forget what I was even doing, but I just remember being in the kitchen. And she said, "Babe, my water broke." So I come running into the room and, grab the bag, and we were ready to go. So we get on the road, headed down to Robert Wood, and everything was just everything. I mean, she wasn't in a lot of pain, but she was, we knew we were ready to go because we, gone to Lamar's class, knew what we were looking for. It felt like we knew what to expect. But it's crazy, Derek. No matter how much you read, how many magazines you read, or websites, or whatever the case might be, you're just never truly ready until you're right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we get to the hospital, and she's maybe 3 centimeters dilated or something like that. Again, very, very mild contractions. So what they did was they gave her Pitocin, which is a drug that they use to induce the labor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, nothing was really happening. I called my mom, my dad, my brother. She called her mom. And everybody came to the hospital, and really we're just hanging out because after water broke, after we got to the hospital, wasn't really a lot going on. we thought he would come a lot quicker, but we're just really hanging out. So I just after some time, contractions started to kick up just because of the Pitocin, and then I believe it was the anesthesiologist came in and said, you know what, we're going to give you the epidural.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
mm-hmm.
As far as that was concerned, we happened to get a anesthesiologist who wasn't very experienced at being an anesthesiologist. He was a resident.
Okay.
And, nothing against the students. Okay. I believe the children are our future, right?
Right on.
But, nothing against the resident, but
yeah.
He was going to administer the epidural, and he just kept missing the mark in the space that he needed to administer it. And
wow.
She actually ended up with 3 or 4 scars in her lower back just as a result of him missing the space that he was supposed to administer the epidural. So
wow.
In a procedure that was supposed to take maybe 15 to 20 minutes tops, we ended up, being there just trying to get this thing right for about an hour and 15 minutes. So it was that part of it wasn't the best. But once we got that settled and ready to go, oh, one other thing as far as the epidural. So kind of a funny story, kind of not. Okay. Her mom at that point was there, and as they were giving the epidural, she saw the size of the catheter, the needle, and she lost her mind. She says, "What are you doing to my daughter? What are you doing to my daughter?" And my wife, she just said, "You know what, Mom? Could you please step out just because, I just want to be calm, and I'm not calm right now," basically. So she just wanted to be in a space where, we can get this thing done because we were already frustrated just because it was taking so long. So it was just crazy moment at the time. So anyway, after she gets the epidural, again, not a lot going on, because I'm watching the monitor. I forget what they call it. It's a monitor which gauges the intensity of the contractions.
Sure.
And as I'm watching the monitor, you could start to see her contractions just going up and up, and then I could watch her. And as the wave is going up on the monitor, I see her pain getting a little bit more intense, and that's how I was able to see how much pain she was in. But again, as I'm watching the monitor, watching her, not so bad. So I brought my camcorder with me because I love to take the pictures, love to get footage. And incidentally, that footage has still never been seen. So we made the recording.
Oh my gosh!
And now 20 years later, it's still on the VHS tape, which is probably part of the reason why. So we haven't watched it. We haven't seen it, anything. So it's just still sitting there. So actually just telling the story makes me want to take the VHS out and, convert it over so I can, so we can actually watch the memories.
No doubt. That's awesome.
But I was in there, I'm doing my interview thing. Hey babe, how you doing? She's like, I'm fine, I'm good, because she wasn't really experiencing a lot of pain. Every once in a while she get a good contraction. I'm looking at the monitor, but I could see everything was under control, so we're good to go. and then I'm interviewing my mom and her mom, and just asking people to say things in the camera. So it was just a fun moment. So as we go through that, her contractions get a little more severe, a little more severe. I'm still messing around with the camera. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? It might be time for me to put this thing down because it's really starting to get real in here. So put the camera down. She starts, she's really, really starting to have some intense contractions. So the doctors come in and, they check her, they look to see how dilated she was. And at that point, she had gotten up to 7 or 8 centimeters dilated. So she was just about ready to go. Okay. So they bring the whole crew in there and check her out and prep for delivery, call the doctors over. And at that point, things really start to roll pretty quickly. Check her again, maybe, 10 minutes later, and baby was crowning. So doctor says, all right, we're going to get ready to push. And, she pushed. And again, we went to a Lamaze classes. So we were ready to, whatever it was at the time. So we tried all these breathing exercises. And after a while, she starts pushing. It's like, man, just forget about this. Just get this baby out of here. So, she pushed maybe 4 or 5 times, and out came Sean, and it was just an unbelievable moment. Unfortunately, I couldn't cut the cord because the cord was wrapped around his neck.
Oh my God!
So the nurses and doctors, they took the baby so that they could cut the cord for us, and then they handed us the baby. Now I remember Tinu, as soon as he came out and as soon as they, held him up and they said, congratulations, she was like, what's his APGAR score? What's his APGAR score? And then the nurses were looking at us and like, it's a 9, it's a 9. Well, the APGAR score is a scale of 1 to 10 that they use to assess how healthy the baby is. And part of the reason that was important to us was because throughout her pregnancy, she had some just elevated hormone levels that indicated maybe spina bifida or a possible birth defect. Wow. So it was recommended to us that we have an amniocentesis where they take a huge needle. It's like 13 inches long, and they put it right into the belly. And that poses a significant risk to the baby when you actually have that procedure done. So we opted not to have it done just because she wasn't high risk, based on the facts that they were giving us, we didn't think that the risk or the benefit outweighed the risk. Sure. So that was in our mind when he's delivered. So that's why, what's the APGAR score? What's the APGAR score? When they said 9, Tina just broke out into tears. Just absolutely, she was so happy.
Oh my goodness.
I was so happy. It was just unbelievable. And, one of the things that I'll never forget about that whole experience was the way Tina was looking at me the whole time, especially after I stopped recording, because then I really felt like we were locked in. When I was recording, I felt like I was kind of on the outside looking in, even though I'm right there, even though it's our baby. But, when I put the camera down and, I was just tending to her, I really started feeling like, like I was just really in it. And I'd always seen on the movies and heard from people, wives get nasty during pregnancy or during delivery. They're cursing at people and cursing at their spouse, and just, a lot of pain and a lot of things being said. But just the way she looked at me like she loved me so much, and like she was just so happy that we were going on this journey together, and I'll just never forget it. Yeah. And it was just such a happy moment for us, and it's just something that won't leave my heart or my mind as long as I'm breathing.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That was an amazing story. So a few questions. First question is, when you held Sean Jr. for the first time, what was going through your mind?
I was like, man, it's really here. it's real. There's a lot of things going through my mind, but that was the main thing. I was like, wow, this is not a game anymore. Like I have a son, I have someone who's depending on me. Um, we have to work together to make sure that we give them the best life possible. Um, how are we going to do it? Like there was feelings of happiness, feelings of uncertainty, feelings of how's it going to get done? Like just a bunch of things. But at I'd say the overwhelming feeling that I had was just happiness because I saw him. He was just a beautiful baby boy, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, leading into the birth of your son, prior to that, had you had any examples or mentorship or anyone giving you kind of guidance, with regards to the birth of your son, and anyone giving you tips? And do you remember any of those tips that you got?
Mm, I can't remember any in particular, except just conversations when I talk to people about us having a baby. Um, the one piece of advice that I got, I can't even remember who gave it to me, but
Okay.
was a schedule. You know, you always want to have your baby on a schedule just because it'll just make things a lot easier for you and your wife. You guys will know when your time is, and just gets the baby used to doing stuff. So, I'd probably say maintain a schedule, create and maintain a schedule.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember the stats for Sean Jr. when he was born? Do you remember his stats?
I
His measurement
believe he was
score?
7 pounds 4 ounces,
Wow. Okay.
but
Okay.
that could be just my memory. I don't know if that's fact. And over the years, not sure how that worked out, but yeah, I think it was 7 pounds 4 ounces.
Awesome. 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 And tell me about Sean today. Who is Sean Jr. today?
Sean Jr. He's a great kid. He's a sophomore at Widener University. He's majoring in computer science, and he's my firstborn. I'm just so proud of him. He's never been in trouble. He's always treated people well. He's a caring kid, and I'm just so proud of what he's becoming. He's developing into a man, and um, you know, I'm, he just makes me proud to be a father.
Awesome. Awesome. That's beautiful.
It's one part I left out is he's Sean Jr. now, but when he was born, he was baby second floor 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 for about 2 days. And part of the reason that was, and we learned later that, we're going to have that the name sewn up, right, when we get to the hospital. But Tino and I were really trying to include both of our families in the naming, of our son. And, Tino is of Nigerian descent. My family's of Jamaican descent. So everyone wanted a little piece of the cultural pie, within the name.
Okay.
So, we really wanted to name Sean Jalen. That was the name that we had, or one of the names we had picked out.
Interesting.
And her mom and dad didn't really love that name. They said, "Oh, it sounds like you're wishing for your child to go to jail. What is that?" Just because of the way the name sounds.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she really didn't like it either.
Okay.
And in Nigeria, the names mean something. They all have a meaning.
Right.
And
Right.
my wife's name means spoiled from the womb. So treated well by parents from the womb. So everything just has a meaning. And then we tried to go with Marlon, which is two names that we ended up naming our two other children. But at the time, they didn't love Marlon. My parents didn't love Marlon. So at the end of 2 days, they said, "You know what? Everyone likes the name Sean. Let's just name him Sean." So that's how he became Sean.
Okay. Okay.
We didn't initially plan on the junior, but throughout that process, we really tried to incorporate everybody. But we realized, you know what? we're having a baby. Our son, we'll name what we want. So, that's how we approached it moving forward. But
That's awesome.
he was baby second floor, 2B54, whatever those numbers were, at the time.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. If you could tell your wife one, two, three things, what would you tell her? Obviously you just shared, a fantastic birth story for Sean Jr. What would you tell your wife?
I would tell her that number one, meeting her was the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I've been so happy over the years to take this journey with her. Watching our boys grow up, growing our family together, making moves together. It's just been an unbelievable journey, and I love her from the bottom of my heart, and I can't wait to see our kids as adults. They are 20, 16, and 14 now. This is birthday season for us, by the way.
Wow.
Everyone's birthday is in like a 5 or 6 week period. We got April 8th, April 3rd, and May 6th.
Wow. Okay.
So, in September every year for a while, I was like, you know what, maybe we should sleep in separate rooms because, we're having babies all around the same time. But no, it's just been an unbelievable ride, and she makes me the man that I am, and she plays a pivotal role in our boys and how they're growing up, and just the values they have, and we can't do anything. We couldn't do it without her, and just happy to be on this journey with her.
Awesome. If you give any advice to any new dads, out there, what would that be? I
would also give the same advice that was given to me: schedule, because once we got the schedule down, it made life a lot easier. I would also recommend that dads be hands-on. You don't know what it's like for a mom, just dealing with hormones and being a mom and having just carried and breastfeeding and being up at night. I mean, it's just a lot, for a new mom. And if you're a dad, just be hands-on, help out as much as you can, feed, bathe, change diapers, so you can get that true dad essence.
I love it. True dad essence. I love it. Awesome. Well, Sean, thank you for sharing your birth story. That was amazing. And I think, the dads and the moms who listen to this will receive this very, very well. So I thank you. Very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem, always.
Thank you for watching this episode of Dads Uninterrupted, Birth Stories.